All right, welcome everybody to another episode of Garage Talk Sports. I'm Mills.
I'm Bobby.
And I'm Nick.
And we are back again in the garage bringing episode number 71 to you guys. Very excited to get this episode going. As always, we start with our hot spots, but we got a fun episode. We're going to talk a lot of football because week one is tomorrow for the NFL Thursday night football matchup, which we'll preview a little bit later in the show. Also, college football is officially in full swing. All of the major programs got that first game out of the way this past weekend as well. So excited to talk about all that. We love talking football. We could talk hours for it,
And we got a new old segment coming back.
Yeah, and this also is the return of, well, actually, it's not a return. It's Nick's picks now.
Yeah, not Bobby's bets.
Not Bobby's bets.
Yeah,
Bobby lost the naming rights. Nick had an incredible year. But we'll talk more about that, too, when we get to that part of the show. But like I said, we always lead off with our hot spots. Nick, I know you wanted to take the ball first here, so you go ahead.
Yeah,
lead us off.
The only non-football talk this week. So literally my hot spot is the Mariners, who they lost to the Sox earlier this week to lose their 7-game winning streak. But Cal Raleigh has 23 homers. He's homered in 22 different games. They are 20-2 when he homers right now. So pretty much
21-2 after yesterday.
No, it was 19-2.
Oh, it was 19-2?
Yeah, I saw a stat a couple games before last night, and they had already assumed that they were going to win the game because they were up 7-0. So I was adding on from that, and then I realized.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're 21-2 when he homers, or 20-2 when he homers.
20-2 when he homers.
That's a
Which
pretty good
is
stat line.
Which is insane.
It's a crazy stat line. It is funny because you and I were playing PlayStation last night, and you mentioned that, and then we finished playing Warzone, and I turn on the game because I'm like, I'll catch the end of it. It was a one-run game. First thing I watch is Cal Raleigh. Cal Raleigh. Cal Raleigh hits a 2-run nuke, and I was like, well, of course.
Now we're gonna win.
So I knew it was over after Nick read that stat to me last night. I was like, okay, so we're not winning this game. That's cool.
Yeah, but after the month of August, well, that stat, sure, that's a cool stat, but after the month of August, the Mariners, a couple of their pitchers have the best ERAs in baseball. Their bullpen's the best in baseball since August, and I think before they played the Sox, they were 59-11 in their last 70 games, which is the best record for the last 70 games. So they're still not going to win the division because they sucked at the start of the season, but when they make the playoffs, I'm not even going to say if, when they make the playoffs.
They're a shoo-in for a wild card.
They're going to be a dangerous team.
Yeah.
It's going to piss me off so much, though. I hope the Sox make the playoffs, but if the Sox make them, the Mariners don't, I'm like, that's bullshit. Because the Sox
will trigger you a little bit.
The Sox are not better. Well, because right now the Mariners have to struggle to beat Tampa Bay, Toronto, and Baltimore.
Yeah.
So it sucks because they all play each other so much in the next month. So it's like the Mariners just have to keep winning because there's going to be a team from the AL East that's going to be winning in those games.
Yeah.
So it's probably going to be one of them. So.
And it'll be 2 years now that they get snubbed and the White Sox make it.
Well, the White Sox legitimately made it last year.
Yeah,
they had a 93-win season. Like that's a playoff performance season.
Yeah.
This year, if they make the playoffs this year, I mean, there's still only what's it called? 2 games, 1.5 games out of the division lead, and they are they just won just now. Game just ended, so I think that puts them at 70-69.
Yeah, I think they're 1 year above 500 now.
Yeah.
Because they went into the season.
Yeah, they're 68-68 going into Mariners this series. And then won game 1, lost game 2. So then they were 69-69. So 70-69. And I'm pretty sure they're 2 or 1.5 games back.
I want to know the stat line from when La Russa went out. How many games they won?
They lost 2.
I can look. I can find that really quick. They've looked better. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
They're 4-2 with Miguel Cairo.
Oh,
yeah.
Hey.
They play
lost,
with
He lost his first game, and they lost yesterday against Mariners.
Yeah.
That ain't bad.
So they've won 2 series in a row, and 2 out of 3.
You can tell the difference, and we'll talk about this real briefly, but you can tell the difference with La Russa being out there because the players are actually using energy. I believe, and I think a lot of people would agree, a team kind of plays with the same energy level that their leadership gives off. And La Russa, sleeps on the bench. So of course they're gonna play like they're sleeping out there. So him being gone, and I think this whole medical emergency, pulling him out is like their way of like just kind of, hey, LaRusso, let's let you be done.
Yeah.
You know, they were never going to fire him because he's got that legacy. Siri, just listen to that whole conversation.
Whoa. They're listening to us.
They were never going to fire him because of his legacy and his relationship with Reinsdorf. He was never going to like just straight up step down because then it would like admit that he wasn't good this year. So like this just feels like the perfect reason to let things end. And then you could be like, well, what could have happened? Maybe he would have turned him around, but we won't know. Whatever. Anything to protect the image of good old DUI Tony.
I think his image is ruined now from before.
Oh, this tarnished it. Are you kidding
I mean, he's
me?
still going to be in the Hall of Fame because you can't just take that
You can't
away.
take him out, but this is
But this is what everyone's going to remember from like the
yeah,
last 10
like
years.
this generation of baseball fans, this is what we remember Tony La Russa as. You know,
falling asleep on the bench.
falling asleep on the bench.
Getting hired the day of his DUI arrest.
Absolute, yeah. Oh my gosh, absolute, like a total. Can you call it nepotism if he's friends with Jerry Reinsdorf? Like, I don't know if
Kinda. Nepotism is
it's
related,
family,
but
yeah, but like
it works the same, I think.
you get what I'm going for.
There's
there.
no way Tony La Russa gets the job if he doesn't know.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
not. Tony La Russa wasn't going to be the manager if it wasn't the like no other team was going to hire La Russa. The White Sox were the only team who tried and did because guess what? Good old Jerry Reinsdorf wants to have his butt buddy back from the '80s. Yeah, I'm gonna go a little unfiltered there.
That was a great.
But it just is. This is what I will remember La Russa as. This is what a lot of Sox fans, newer baseball fans, are going to remember him as. And you know what? Good for him. That's what he gets. That's what he gets. Although more of the blame should go on Jerry Reinsdorf for making the move to begin with. And you guys know I've been very critical of him, both with the White Sox and the Bulls. So
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it gets to the point where I mean, and we'll get into this with football too coming up because there's a lot of new coaches in the NFL. But it's like there's blame on the ownership when you're not giving the guys to succeed. Like if you're not putting guys in the field,
you're not putting
to
the
succeed,
talent out there to help them.
then
Yeah.
the coaches is there. Like I look at Jim Boline or not Jim Boline, the Bulls coach right before Hoiberg, Boylan.
You're
But it's like
close.
so it's like he was the right guy for the job because you didn't want to bring in a guy like Billy Donovan for a crap team. But then when you started getting better players who were not playing to their potential, it's like now you got to send a guy off.
Yeah.
I think there was no point to get Tony La Russa once he sucked last year. Like all three of us could have coached the Sox to win the pennant last
Oh
year.
yeah, I don't think La Russa had any. That sounds a little bit much, but you know, I think La Russa's impact on this team getting 93 wins last year is a little overstated.
Yeah.
Like I agree with you. I think really last year, like everything was clicking for that team. La Russa's whole thing was his bullpen management, right? They brought him in because in the playoffs before, Ricky Renteria had an absolute meltdown with how he handled the bullpen.
Yeah.
And so La Russa, you know, credited with creating the closer position, right? They say he created the closing pitcher spot. Either way, though, like I don't think his impact last year was all that much. The team had juice and energy, and you can tell, like this year, something took all of that energy out of him.
Yep.
And I think it was La Russa. You know, they kind of won, not in spite of him last year, but he was still fresh. So, like, they were able to play their brand of baseball and then go, you know, usually you hear, like, with coaching, with a new coaching regime and everything, like, the second year is where you really start to fully implement your culture. And if that was the case here, that was them implementing the Tony La Russa culture. The culture is pretty much sleeping on the bench and, you know, lollygagging out there on the field, letting a routine single turn into a double because we want to walk up to the ball that's rolling in the outfield instead of run up and field it. I can go on, but we'll move on from baseball here.
Yeah.
Just overall, I hope Tony La Russa's gone for good. And I also hope his medical situation isn't anything super serious.
Yeah.
I don't wish for the man to have, like, cancer or anything.
Yeah.
But I don't want him coming back to the White Sox. Yeah, good talk. Cal Rayleigh. That stat's impressive though, Nick. We'll wrap it full circle there for you. So I'll take it from here. I don't know if you guys saw, I think it was late last week or this weekend, the NCAA is expanding the college football playoff to 12 teams starting in 2026.
It could be as soon as 2024 if everything gets approved right.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't read the
Yeah.
whole I didn't read into all of it.
Yeah.
But figure that's something we got to talk about because how many times on this show have we discussed the the playoff
did.
expansion?
And
it's like a lead topic every time the college football playoff comes up.
Yeah.
And I always proposed 8 teams. I never expected 12. I think 12 is a little overkill.
A little bit, but still, I think it's cool that you could go in as 12 seed and
have a chance.
Yeah, potentially still make like.
Right, but what I will follow with that, just bear with me here. So the reason I think 12 is too much, let's look at a matchup that happened just this past weekend with Oregon versus Georgia. Number 11 versus number 3. Final score 49-3. Oregon looked like it didn't have any business being on the same field. The problem with college football is like really outside of like your top 7 teams, it kind of stops being close.
Yeah, a little bit.
Because then they kind of just, I feel like the voting somewhat gets impacted just by like the team that they're like what team you are. Like great example, Notre Dame is ranked number 5 going into this season.
They should not have been.
And they're 0-1.
Yeah.
I just Notre Dame, if it's like any other team loses to Ohio State this past week and they're not staying ranked number 5.
Yeah, no.
Unless it's a bigger program than Notre Dame.
Yeah.
So that's the problem I think you run into when you get into that like 8 through 12 spot.
Yeah. Also, I do have they did the Dogs dirty. They should be ranked number 1. That was absolute beatdown to a number 11 ranked team.
Top 25 ranked.
Exactly.
I think it was one of the only matchups between top 25 schools.
Yeah.
Ohio State played Notre Dame.
Oh, yeah.
True.
Okay.
And then
I said one of the only.
And then the rankings don't make sense there. So Georgia beats number 11 ranked Oregon, who Bo Nix looked like shit.
Former Auburn great.
Yeah. So, all right. They stay at 3. All right. Alabama beats some fucking no-name team. They stay at 1. All right. And then Ohio State beats number 5 ranked Notre Dame. Granted, Ohio State's offense kind of looked like stagnant. Like they, but again, it's the first game. You're figuring it all out. But anyways, they come out with the win. And they drop? Like, how the fuck does the polls even work? Like, number 1, Georgia should have went to number 1 spot.
It's all press voting, man. Like that's the problem with the polls. Is like it kind of feeds to my point I was just making that you kind of like get the benefit of your school name when it comes to that voting sometimes. True. Especially, I don't know why. Like Ohio, I don't know how Ohio State would drop in the rankings.
Yeah, like that makes no sense.
They're going to be like, they didn't look very good. They won, but they have to go down.
They dropped from 2 to 4, but still, it's like, and then Clemson looked, like
they look terrible.
DJ Uyunglele is just not
it, right?
Like he's not the guy.
Yeah.
Like, and the true freshman.
Remember how hot that take was when I said that a year ago?
I don't know. Like watching the game, it could have been his receivers. Like they were not getting separation. So that game, I will. But it's Georgia Tech.
Clemson is kind of like on its decline a little bit as a program.
Yeah.
I was talking about that with Cole. Is like, friend of the podcast, Cole Akamoff. Clemson, Dabo. You got to give Dabo Swinney like credit for what he built there, but at the same time, if you can't get your quarterback position figured out, just like the NFL, you'll only get so far.
Oh yeah, and after the game, he said he's riding with DJ.
Oh yeah, of course. They don't have who's behind him.
That true freshman, he looked pretty good. He played like the last drive?
Last 3 drives.
Yeah.
After they took off on Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
Georgia Tech looked good. I'll be honest.
Yeah, they did. I
they hung around.
Cover it, but they didn't cover. They needed to win by.
The new transfer portal really shakes things up. That's going to change things.
Yeah, true. Well, we'll slide that.
NILs.
We'll slide that.
Not even NIL. It's just the fact they don't have to sit out a year.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
So, game of the week for me was West Virginia versus Pitt. It was a great game. It came down to the wire. JT Daniels, that man looked like a star. His receivers dropped a lot of fucking balls that they should have caught. And if they caught those balls, I think it would be a different story. West Virginia would have won. But regardless, we had 2 USC quarterbacks going up against each other, JT Daniels and Kendon Slovis, who just transferred to Pitt.
Is this your hotspot?
Yeah. That's my own. Yeah. And then
the USC quarterback part, right?
Yeah. And then on top of it, Jackson Dart, true freshman who started last year for USC, is now the starter at Ole Miss. So, don't be sleeping on USC.
And the offensive coordinator from USC is the West Virginia head coach.
Yep.
I'm not sleeping on USC, but also none of those guys are at USC. So
They're still not going to be that great this year, Bobby.
Oh, they
you
are.
see, they barely filled any seats,
Yeah, it's because it's
All right.
California. People are just doing whatever they want.
and it was like 102 degrees.
And let me
So
tell,
I'll be honest, I'm not sitting in that kind
and
of
let me
heat.
tell
Are
you,
you
it was
kidding
an absolute beatdown to Rice. All right.
It's
It
Rice.
better be.
Isn't
They
Rice
took-
like an
they
outside edge
absolutely
Ivy League
took it.
school?
Yeah, I think so. I was like,
Yeah,
well,
and-
it's like
Bro,
Yale.
do you even
or
know what
like-
their mascot is?
Owls.
should be Rice?
I knew you would know.
I didn't know.
I was looking at Bobby.
Well, you were looking at this direction, which is
Yeah,
both of us.
that's fair. Okay.
Like, they
I
should just-
had a feeling you would know just because I was like, Nick, you have that just random stuff that you got.
I would just be like, we're the Rice.
We're the
We're the
rice.
Uncle Ben's.
We're the
Yeah.
rice grains.
But yeah, I just thought it was cool that two USC quarterbacks were duking it out, and JT Daniels is definitely the better quarterback, in my opinion.
Dude, I feel bad for JT Daniels.
yeah, he's got
Dude is
bad shape.
This is what his third school since leaving USC.
No, because he went to Georgia, and
He
then
went to Washington last year.
he did, no, he
No,
didn't.
not last year. He went from USC. I'm pretty sure he went. I could be
I
mixing
think
up.
he because I just think he went to.
I could be mixing. I could be mixing up.
I swear, because he started at USC as a true freshman, got injured, and then Kendon Slovis took over. Then I think he just transferred to Georgia, and then Stenson Bennett,
which he looked like a dog.
Dude,
he got
he-
that dog in him.
he got that dog in him. Like,
You see,
It's,
in
it's
the
week one, and they played a terrible team that should probably not have been ranked.
whoa,
in the top 20.
Oregon. A lot of
Oregon's
people were
defense
giving
is-
Oregon respect this year.
yeah,
Not anymore.
We'll have
but
to see. I think the
The-
ranking systems are stupid in the first 5 weeks.
oh
It doesn't
yeah,
make
but
any
but let's
sense.
Yeah.
to be fair, Oregon is a much bigger program than say
Then Rice.
Rice or
Yeah.
Georgia Tech or whoever Alabama faced.
I think they played like Alabama State or
Yeah, there you go.
All I know is
or no, I
Miami
think
But-
played.
I think
but,
they played
um,
Georgia State.
No,
Georgia.
Appalachian
you're
State almost
right.
beat North
I was
Carolina.
thinking.
That-
I was thinking
yeah,
of.
that was a close game.
I was thinking of Jacob Eason when he left Georgia and went to Washington. I was
oh yeah,
I was kind
yeah,
of
It was a
mix-
long time ago.
I
He's
know
in the
I was
NFL
mixing
now.
up Georgia quarterbacks. My bad. But I do feel bad for JT Daniels because injured, lost his spot at USC for injury, goes
True.
to Georgia, loses his spot at Georgia for injury,
I
and
think,
then
I think that's your thing you have to realize when you're a quarterback. You can't. Yes, going to Alabama is going to give you the most notice.
Yeah.
But if you go to a school that's big but not super big, like I think Justin Fields moving from Georgia to Ohio State was the smartest move for his NFL career
yeah.
because most likely he's going to be the starter,
Mhm.
and even if he gets hurt, they're going to roll back to him once he gets better.
Yeah.
And USC, and Clemson depends it depends on what your coach is looking at. But there are some schools where like they will literally draft look at Texas right now with they have Quinn Ewers, and then they're having Arch Manning is coming. So it's like if Quinn Ewers gets hurt this year and wants to come back, yeah,
Tough.
Arch Manning's probably going to redshirt is what everyone's thinking. But if he doesn't, you're going to lose your starting job because we're not going to just sit there with Arch Manning
Yeah,
sitting there and be like, oh well,
exactly.
I guess we won't play him.
No, I do feel bad for JT Daniels. Also, the other reason I was thinking he also went to Washington is because I forgot when he transferred to Georgia, those transfer rules were still in effect, so he had to miss a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
think-
why I was like, there was a gap between USC and Georgia. I thought maybe went to. Just explaining my thought
You're
process.
wrong.
I was wrong.
But I will
was a
say-
silly little boy
I-
thinking that.
like if he keeps playing the way he is playing, I think he's a shoo-in to be a draft prospect.
I'm sure he. I mean, you're talking JT Daniels, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he can find himself like he might be able to carve out like a decent backup role. I don't expect him to go any higher. I guess this preseason quarterback ranking here, I don't expect JT Daniels going anywhere higher than any earlier than the 5th round.
True. Also, I thought my bet on Sam Hartman winning the Heisman. He had a boycott. I thought he was gonna miss the whole season. He's back. So my Heisman bet's still in play.
Attaboy.
And the
Yeah,
Demon,
dude, but
Demon Deacons ranked 22. The Demon Deacons, Wake Forest, ranked 22.
oh, Wake Forest.
Yeah.
Again, rankings are stupid in the first 5 weeks.
Yeah, it's
Like
kind
Utah.
of pointless.
Should Utah have been in the top 10? No, they shouldn't have.
No, they were pretenders.
Literally,
there.
we know it. We know 1, 2.
We know what Utah is.
We knew
know
one,
what Utah.
1, 2, 3 is going to be Ohio State, Georgia and Alabama, and whatever order you want. If you're a Georgia fan, you're going to say it should be Georgia. If you're Alabama, it should be Alabama. Whatever, it doesn't matter. But then after week one, everyone's like, well, no, they should be. And it's like, well, no. If literally at the start of the season, no teams proved that they should be better than Alabama just because you beat Oregon. Maybe Oregon shouldn't have been ranked 11. Like, you have no idea.
But I just feel Georgia should have been ranked number 1. That was
because you're like Georgia over Alabama.
well, no,
Well, not even that. They
won
the
it.
way my logic here is they faced a better program. Whether Oregon should have been ranked 11 or not isn't in the point. It's more so, is Oregon better than the team that Alabama faced?
No, I'm pretty sure they played Georgia State. I want to look this up.
So then, yes, Oregon I would take over Georgia State.
But just because you beat a team that's not as good shouldn't just have you lose your number 1 spot. Because if you win, you should just stay where you're at.
But you also have to look at just
dumb,
how
the first 5 weeks.
What was the score of the game for
Shouldn't
Alabama,
change it.
Bob?
Okay, they played Utah State, but it was 55-0.
Okay.
But
49-3, 55-0.
But they play a ranked team. I
This is
feel like-
potato right here, I guess. But I'm not upset that Alabama stayed number 1. I think that Georgia should have at least moved up to 2. Yes.
Bryce Young had 5 touchdowns. That's just
Yeah.
Oh.
Do I think Georgia
And-
should have moved up to 2? Yes.
and
But I
another
think,
rushing
If
touchdown.
you're looking that way, then Ohio State should be number 1. Because Ohio State played a number 5 team. So
Yes. Yeah, and I
that's
would
why I just
stand by
think-
that argument.
I
though.
just think it's
would.
stupid the first 5 weeks. I just think it should be no
The rank-
actual set in stone rating. It's just like we're not going to do anything because literally we're stupid for making these rankings now because we have no idea what these teams actually are.
I don't disagree with you, Nick, but I'm saying if Ohio State, because they had their win against Notre Dame was against the highest ranked out of all, Ohio State was ranked what, 2, right? You said they were ranked 2,
Yeah, they were ranked 2,
and then
Georgia State.
and then they
had 3.
faced Notre Dame, who was ranked in the top 7 somewhere. I don't remember their exact ranking. And they beat Notre Dame. If the AP was like, okay, yeah, we'll go ahead and just move up Ohio State and put them at number 1 because they had they faced the highest ranked opponent and won, and they were already ranked number 2. I would stand by that logic.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, they played the 5 team. They won.
Yes.
But instead, you're like, oh, they beat Notre Dame, but they didn't really beat them by all that much. So let's drop them to 4.
But Notre Dame stays where they are. There's just it's stupid. To sum it all up, Nick, like you said, it's all stupid. You got to give it a couple weeks before you can effectively rank. But
Well, I just think this is going into what you said about the college football expanding to 12 teams, and then other things that happened in week 1, the vote. What people realize is everyone wants 12 teams to be in 2024. It should just be 2026. You need to figure everything out because that means 1-loss teams are going to be in the playoffs for sure.
Mhm.
And again, I don't want a team like Oregon getting absolutely bashed on. I'd rather take a 2-loss Ohio State team in the playoffs over seeing UCF, who's undefeated because they're undefeated because they played nobody teams.
whoa,
Yeah.
UCF that one year, they earned their game. All right, they beat Auburn, and I forget what bowl game it was. When you're talking about the year when they just crowned themselves national champs,
Yeah.
right? To be fair, they beat a good Auburn team.
Oh, I
to
understand.
win
That's
their
still
bowl game.
Auburn, though, which lost to Alabama that year by 21. So
I hear
if they
you.
would have played
I-
Alabama,
I
in the
do
national
think that
championship-
UCF team would have been better than Cincinnati this year. I
But-
think that UCF team would have held their own a little bit better.
And that's my whole thing is now with it expanding to 12 teams, people have to realize that now you're going to have a lot more undefeated teams that are still not getting in. Because same thing, Iowa should never be ranked in the top 10 this
Well,
entire
they
year.
might though.
They should never be.
Not
because
after this game though.
they
7-3 was pretty brutal.
South Dakota
Yeah.
State, 7-3. They didn't score a single touchdown all game. I don't want that anywhere near the college football playoff name. So which means now they can't be ranked in the top 12 because of that. So
They could have. Listen, Iowa looked horrible.
Yeah, that was.
But I think the ending to talk about the most out of all the week 1 games, because really most of them were blowouts. Probably the most exciting, thrilling ending had to be LSU versus Florida State.
Oh yeah, I took Florida State
I wouldn't
to-
say that.
to win.
I would say Appalachian State over North Carolina. That was the most exciting game. Scored 40 points in the last quarter.
I mean, yeah,
but still lost.
No, I'm saying there was 40 total points scored in the last quarter.
Yeah,
Most of that was scored in the last 6 minutes of the game.
it was.
I guess
insane.
yeah.
But
But
They scored, went for 2, didn't get it, then kicked an onside field goal where their entire return team just obliterated the kicking team, scored a touchdown on it. Then Appalachian State still goes down and scores again, goes for 2 again, throws a wide open pass to the corner, don't get it. That was more exciting than just a missed extra point, in my opinion.
Well, it's the fumble recovery. Okay, fair enough. That's probably more exciting. But LSU's the bigger program.
Yeah, it is true.
And Brian Kelly is Brian Kelly.
I don't like Brian Kelly.
Neither do I.
I don't want to talk about him.
I don't like Brian Kelly either, which is why which sucks because I liked LSU, but now because of my dislike towards Brian Kelly, I can't root for LSU. He's been getting a lot of grief from the like media.
Oh yeah, let me tell you, if someone blocks my field goal attempt one time, and I got a chance to go for 2 and win the game, I'm gonna go for 2. They already blocked my field goal once. Like, yeah,
Dude, they let that same guy through 3 different times.
Exactly. It's like, clearly your fucking offensive line has no clue of what they're doing.
Find your special teams coordinator, kick him in the ass, and fire his ass. I don't know.
Like,
It's Urban Meyer 2.0, and kicking players, just kicking coordinators.
Kicking coordinators. Be like, listen, man, it is your job to notice that number, whatever. I think he was number like 32 or something.
yeah,
This guy got through and blocked field. He got through the line 3 separate times, blocked field goal 2 different times, right? Because he didn't block 3, he blocked 2.
yeah, he blocked you.
But he got through 3 different times through that offensive line. It's like, find out who's responsible for that, man. Sit that player on the bench, yell at him a couple times, put someone else there. Like, come on, man. Like, I don't care though, because Brian Kelly lost, and I kind of
he looks like a complete idiot for that. Like,
I like rooting against him. Ever since he had that meltdown with the media when he was at Notre Dame, it was like when they had like a down year, and he was basically like, "Well, the players suck, not me."
Yeah, and then didn't they end up still making a bowl game, and then he left before the bowl game that year?
No, because he left last year.
yeah, that was.
He left from Notre Dame. He left from some school.
I
After they
couldn't
won.
remember, but
Maybe there's Chip Kelly that did
that happens a lot. Coaches do that a lot. I remember.
No, like a coach came out middle of the season was like, "My team sucks. They're absolute ass." And then they made the bowl game, and then he was like, "Well, this is sick. I did really good turning the team around." And then he left for the bowl game, and I was like, "You're a piece of
I
shit."
wouldn't be shocked. I do know that this happened years ago, back when Northern Illinois had Jordan Lynch, so that's a throwback.
Oh yeah, that's a long.
But they qualified for the Orange Bowl when they had to face Florida State, and this was like the first time that a not Power 5 conference got thrown since like Boise State beat Oklahoma in the Fiesta Bowl years, like back when Adrian Peterson was on the team.
Yeah.
Remember the Statue of Liberty play and everything? So this is the first time a non-Power 5 conference team made a BCS bowl game. And it was NIU, and everyone was like, Northern Illinois has no business being here, blah, blah, blah. And everyone's like, no, they're going to do it. And then their coach left. Like the week before the game, he quit and took a job at like Kent State or something like that. And then I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, I felt so bad for that.
The money's the money.
I know. I felt so bad for that NIU team. They had to listen for weeks about how they did not belong in that game. And then their coach was like, we're going to get smoked. I'm out.
The coach was like, yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, pretty much. I felt terrible. I felt so bad. Also, I like NIU.
Yeah.
It was brutal. They gave it their best effort.
How bad did they get?
Not too bad.
Oh, okay.
It was close. It was like a lot of those games that shouldn't be close. Like it stayed close longer than it should have, but then eventually the talent takes over.
Yeah, and then I think towards the end they started putting in some second stringer guys just to, you're in a bowl game. Like, why not? Like, you're going to win. But yeah, I think LSU.
Yeah, it was 37-19.
LSU.
I mean, that's not terrible.
After Coach O, they fired him, got him out of there. I was like, well, that was the best part of LSU because Justin Jefferson's gone and Joe Burrow's gone. And, Justin Jefferson.
I mean, 31-10.
Oh,
it was 31-10. But it was like
How many games are you looking up? How did you look up the wrong score?
I typed in NIU versus Florida State. Didn't realize they played back in 2018 as well.
Oh wow.
Yeah, no, but it was like one of those things. It was like 17-10 up until like halfway through the fourth quarter. So everyone's like, they might do it, and then they didn't do it.
Yeah.
So it was like every 16 versus 1 seed.
Yeah,
in March Madness until
it finally happened.
Like, oh my gosh, it's tied at halftime. Wait, they lost by 70? How did that happen? Well, that's what happens.
The shooters started shooting, and the one and only good player on that team fouled out, so it's over.
It's over.
Yep, it's over.
They only have one guy over 6'5", and now he's on the bench, and now the 7'3" dude from Duke is just going to score 30 points.
Yeah. But my big takeaway from week 1 of college. Well, technically week 2, because
No, it's week 1, week 0.
some
Why not be lame?
some teams have played their second game
I
already.
know, 'cause
Yeah.
week 0 happened.
It's just
Oh,
weird.
they call that week 0.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, so my takeaways from week 1. Dude, the SEC is just legit. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, they really are.
Like, and now after this, Oregon, in my opinion, and Utah, because they're also in the Pac-12, those are probably, and I guess USC. I'm forgetting about them, but they're trying to leave the Pac-12.
yeah,
So
USC and UCLA are
yeah. So
trying
I'm
to join
kind of
Big Ten.
keeping them out because they're going to be leaving the Pac-12.
Yeah.
Once they're out of the Pac-12, it's Utah and Oregon are like the 2 big programs in there, and the
Yep.
Pac-12 is going to pretty much be
Arizona
rendered.
State, they still got Herm Edwards, right?
I don't know, but they don't amount to anything ever.
I know, but I like Herm Edwards.
Their jerseys are cool. I'll give them that.
Sun Devils?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
have some cool jerseys. Like when they wear the gray on the red, that's pretty dope.
Yeah, it is.
But Pac-12 is going to be pretty much irrelevant. I wouldn't be shocked if there's if they're not even like considered a Power 5
They're
conference.
going to do
anymore.
with the plan. I think what they said was the Big 12 and the Pac 12 are going to merge and create like the Big 12, like the West 12 or something like that.
Interesting.
Because
It's still going to be
Texas is leaving,
yeah.
Oklahoma's
yeah,
leaving,
Oklahoma.
Texas A&M
And they're both
is
going to
already
the
gone.
SEC.
Yeah.
It's like everyone wants to be an SEC school, and the Pac-12 and I've always kind of dogged on the Big 12 a lot because I think that it's an overrated conference.
It's an offensive conference.
Yeah, there's no defense there. The Pac-12, it just doesn't compete with the SEC. I think the Pac-12, I would take the Pac-12 over the Big 12 personally. I think there's more programs like that, like you can respect in the Pac-12.
Yeah.
But now that 2 of them are leaving, you're down
Well,
to.
and your other like Colorado and Washington used to be like top.
They used to be
20
good,
schools,
too,
and
yeah.
now they've gone back to rebuilding. So now it's like, well, now they're down. Now
Yeah,
they're-
it's like
Yeah.
like that's the thing about all these other conferences. Like the SEC schools are always like the big teams in the SEC are always good. Georgia and Alabama will always be good. Texas A&M, another SEC school,
Yep.
they're always a solid program. Whereas every other conference, they go through like these ups and downs of like, oh well, we got to get our new recruiting class, and no one competes with the SEC. Honestly, the only conference I think that kind of like keeps up is the Big Ten, and that's pretty much because Ohio State's there.
Yeah.
That's
really.
about it. Michigan State's on a they're rising right now.
Yeah.
Mel
Michigan-
Tucker's kind of building something there. Hopefully, it can stay. Michigan is, it's got the name, so like they'll always get a decent recruiting class. It's a matter of using the talent.
They'll get as far as Harbaugh will take them.
Yeah.
And that's getting destroyed by Georgia in
Yeah,
the
they'll-
semifinals.
run the ball. Can't run the ball. No, I think the Big Ten competes with them because Ohio State's always solid. So they're always that perennial team that's in there. Michigan is a big enough name, and then also if they can beat Ohio State, usually they're undefeated. So it's like one
Yeah.
of those 2 teams.
Yeah.
And then they have, unlike the Pac-12, they have those middle teams that always can kind of find a way into the top. Like
Yeah,
Penn State is always going to be a top 25 team
Wisconsin.
that falls in and
Wisconsin's
out.
a good one. Northwestern every couple years.
Yeah,
every
Northwestern,
year.
Iowa, every year should look like a team. Not this year.
They look terrible.
trash.
But it's week 1. That's why you said, Nick, give it 5 weeks before you jump.
Oh, I don't care. When you score 7 points against South Dakota State, and
They looked terrible.
over 50% of your points are on safeties, that's not going to happen against teams that know how to field punts and not give up punt blocks. Like,
Yeah.
So
That's
My
just
thing, the
embarrassing.
reason, like, the Big Ten can match the physicality better than the Pac-12 or Big 12. Big Ten defenses can kind of like play physical. The Big 12, they've got no defense. Doesn't exist in that conference.
That's true.
They
I think
get bodied.
I think it helps geographically. Like, there is a lot of farm boys in the SEC that are just like, you don't even have to really know how to play football, but you're going to be a 300-pound, 6'4" kid. Okay, you can be an offensive or defensive lineman.
Yeah.
The Big Ten has those those Midwestern kids.
Yeah, those just Midwestern roots where
The West Coast kids, some of these guys from the Pacific Northwest, they're bigger, muscular guys, but you can't. Some of these linemen on
they
like,
don't got
Oregon,
that dog in them.
Well, no, some of these linemen in Oregon are 6'6", maybe 200 pounds. You can't go up against an O line that's 6'6", 300 pounds. They're still big and muscular. They're going to take down a lot of smaller schools.
but they're not making football players out there. They're
Yeah.
just making big bodied guys.
Like,
True.
we give shit to Michigan for absolutely sucking against Georgia, but when you saw their offensive line walk out there, you're like, oh, well, these guys aren't going to get pushed around like Cincinnati.
At least they
did.
send O linemen to the draft. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
At least they're over 6 foot and they're close to 3.
that's the thing. The
It's like-
Big Ten can match the size and physicality of the SEC, as like not match it equally, but compared to the other conferences, stands the best chance at it. The ACC, really, outside of Clemson, what's a good ACC program?
Wake Forest.
I would say back a little bit ago, Virginia Tech and Georgia Tech had those guys.
Yeah, Florida State.
A while ago, Florida State hasn't been good for a number of years.
Yeah, they haven't.
Pretty much since Jameis Winston left.
Yeah, right.
Miami is coming up now.
Yeah, they are. They're on
Especially
the
with
up and
the NIL, because they're
Yeah.
getting a lot of recruits that come there, and then also you're in Miami. Like people will come to Miami just to go to Miami.
Yeah,
up. That is true. I think
especially
they're
if The Rock is recruiting for you.
they're ranked in like the teens somewhere. I want to say.
I think they're 19.
Yeah, like
They just
they're around
beat
there.
they
We'll
just
see.
beat Bethune-Cookman like 73
Hey,
to
Bethune
6.
Cookman. We knew
Steven
someone who went there.
Yeah.
Good old Bethune.
Also, I want to say that Sean Clifford guy, he's ass
I
on
know who
Penn
it is.
State. He's
Oh.
like the 6th-year graduate student for Penn State. God, dude, he stinks. Almost lost to Purdue because of him.
I didn't watch any of the
Purdue's
games.
another good team. They're
Purdue, like that's the thing. Purdue and Indiana always seem to have like they're not great, but like they manage to keep up with like Ohio State or Michigan and whatnot. Like they can hang in there because the physicality can match to a certain extent.
They're teams that like crack the 20 to 25 range. That like Penn State and those Wisconsin teams crack like the 10 to 20 range.
Mhm.
Every once in a while go above in top 10, and then Michigan and Ohio State are the perennial.
Yeah.
They'll probably be in the top 10 at least once during the year until they
Yeah,
lose to.
at some point, right?
And now you had USC and UCLA. That's going to help
Yeah,
if they get it done.
yeah. If they get it done, we'll see what Lincoln Riley can do over there.
True.
Chip Kelly's turned around UCLA's program pretty solid. I give him
Ooh.
credit. I'll give him credit for that.
Yeah.
But let's move on into the NFL talk. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of our show here.
All right.
So week 1 is tomorrow, Thursday Night Football.
So pumped.
This episode might air before week 1 happens, Bobby.
Yeah, I'll get
For
that.
sure on
Yeah.
Spotify.
It'll be up, but just for those of you who are listening and you're like, wait a second, Thursday Night Football, they said tomorrow. It's Thursday. Come on, be realistic. Anyways, so the Bills are hosting the Rams. I don't remember.
Bills versus Rams.
Yeah,
so
they're
in
at-
LA.
In
it's
LA.
In LA. Yeah.
Okay, wow. Okay. So Bills going into LA, going to SoFi Stadium versus the Rams. This is usually the way it works out typically is like the Thursday Night Football game is kind of like been like the Super Bowl rematch the past couple of years that's happened.
Yeah, I think so. Like,
Whereas this year, this is kind of like a Super Bowl matchup, possibly. There's a lot of question marks surrounding what the Bills are going to do with what's it called? Brian Dable being gone. You
Yeah.
know, you don't know for certain what the offense is going to look like. Are they going to kind of struggle early while they figure it out with the new coordinator? I don't know. All the pieces are still there. Also, Dawson Knox just signed a 4-year extension or something today. So good for him. Clap it up for Dawson.
Yep, Dawson. He's a touchdown
but
machine.
What?
He's a touchdown machine.
Yeah, he's a good red zone
Yeah.
target.
Well, they have Brees Hall now too.
Yes, Brees Hall.
Or they have
No,
an actual running back.
Oh, James Cook.
James Cook, not
Yeah.
Brees Hall. Brees Hall is.
who did they draft? They drafted someone though.
James Cook.
James
Oh,
Cook.
James.
Yeah.
Oh,
Where's Brees Hall?
He's your dog.
who was I thinking of? You said Cook, and my mind went to an already existing player.
Dalvin Cook?
He's
No, I don't. Oh no, James, and I thought James Conner, and I was like, what? But anyways,
No, your dog's down there in Bills country.
attaboy.
Yeah.
Well, they'll feed him then.
He's gonna be a pass catcher.
They'll feed him anyways.
Yeah.
You killed my train of thought there.
Sorry.
He's
I-
hungry.
I forgot
Yeah.
what I was saying. Damn. Okay, let's just move on then.
Well, I
What
mean,
was I talking about?
You're talking about the Bills
Bills.
The
Brian
matchup.
Dable, yeah, matchup.
against the Rams.
Yeah, right.
I don't really know where you're going next.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know. Oh,
the
well,
Ram-
yeah,
the
possible
Rams-
Super Bowl 57. By the way, I had to look up LVII. I'm not good with Roman numerals.
Me neither.
I was
But-
like, and I kept typing in what number is this year's Super Bowl?
46. 56.
57.
LVII.
Yeah. So I kept typing it
L
in,
is 50,
and all
V
it
is
did,
5,
it just-
II is 1.
how
it
are you
just-
so good?
it just kept pulling up LVII. I'm like, that's great. I need the number. Like, just give me the number. Either way, it'll be a fun matchup. Also, that question mark with Stafford's elbow. Apparently,
Yeah, they're saying it's gonna be lingering all season.
it's all those it's all those having to throw sidearm around linemen when he was in Detroit. Finally caught up to him.
Yeah.
I think he should be fine. Their team pretty
He'll
much
probably be
they're
fine.
pretty much stayed the same. There could be
They
an
literally
argument
stayed the
of
same.
who's better, Odell or Allen Robinson.
Yeah.
But Allen Robinson's never been offered a fair
I'm
shake of a
excited
good
to see what
quarterback.
Allen Robinson can do with a legitimate quarterback throwing the ball to him. No disrespect to Mitch. And I don't count last year with Justin Fields because I feel like Allen Robinson gave up on the Bears last year.
Yeah.
I think the Bears gave up on him because they were hoping he could sign for less money, and not realizing.
I
that
think
there's
it was a
other
little.
teams that
I
are
think it
gonna
was a
spend
little
more
bit of
money.
both, but there were definitely times where I saw Allen Robinson not even try. So
that is true.
it goes both ways. Both sides really screwed the pooch there. Not trying to play the blame game or anything.
Well, also the Rams lost Bobby Trees. I forgot about that. Robert Woods.
Bobby
Tree.
Tree. I didn't
Bobby
see
Trees.
that.
Also, Sean Connolly, head coach Vikings, was their offensive coordinator last year. So.
Yeah, but I don't think he called plays.
Yeah, it's
that's one of
Sean
those
McVay.
where I'm not worried about a head or offensive coordinator.
Yeah,
leaving
that's
when-
different.
It'd be like Andy Reid losing his offensive coordinator. It's like, well, no, he's pretty much the guy that's still running the show.
Yeah, we watched Andy Reid lose his offensive coordinator. He went to the Bears.
then
And
the
notice how the
went to
Chiefs
Super
were
Bowl.
still good. And yeah, they won a Super Bowl. Whatever. I'm excited for the Thursday night matchup. I'm definitely gonna try and catch some of it if I don't get tied up with other stuff tomorrow night.
I'll be watching.
I'll be in class, but I'll
You're
be
gonna be
after.
watching it. You'll be like you'll pull it up.
Oh yeah, I got my $50 free bet riding on the Bills, man.
Nice.
Wow. The other matchup to talk about really Bears 49ers. Only real reason is because we're Bears fans here in Chicago. Also, Trey Lance versus Justin Fields. Trey Lance is taken 4th overall. Fields fell to 11 for the Bears. A lot of that has been talked about this week leading up to the game. Fields says he's happy that the 49ers passed on him, which I'm glad to hear that, but I also feel like any player is going to say that.
Is this the first matchup of two of those quarterbacks in that first round? Because I don't think Zach Wilson ever played Mac Jones, did he?
No,
Because he was hurt for both the games. I thought.
Oh yeah, maybe he was hurt.
You might be right. And then
And Lawrence didn't play against the Jets or the Patriots last year, I don't think.
I don't remember.
I feel like he might have played.
Maybe Trevor Lawrence did play against Mac Jones.
Trevor Lawrence, I think, might have played one of the two. Well, if he played one, he would have had to. Well, no, not necessarily.
I mean, I know Davis Mills played Trevor Lawrence.
But he was
Yeah,
the
but-
first round pick.
That's true.
We're talking first rounds. I don't know. I mean, we could look that up, I guess, if one of you guys wants to look it up. But
It's going to be one of the first.
this is
Yeah.
more the reason this is the one being talked about is because a lot of people thought that Fields was going to get taken by the 49ers.
That is true.
Like, I thought Mac Jones was going to get taken by the 49ers, which, I was wrong. But
I couldn't out of good faith.
what?
I couldn't out of good faith.
Your voice is dying when
Out of good faith.
Okay, out of good
good faith. I just couldn't have
you're,
him going
you're,
on
you're
three
like
in a row.
letting your voice stop projecting on
You were
that
like,
last-
I know Andrew needs the last two words of this sentence.
You're like,
but I'm
out of
gonna-
good-
Yeah.
out of good faith. I was like, say the last word. Anyways, so that people thought that Trey Lance over Fields was kind of like a bro, like what are you doing kind of thing. So we'll see how that plays out and everything. I do like the Bears in this matchup a little bit. I'll talk about that when we get into Nick's picks. But yeah, the big storyline though, the week 1 storyline that everyone should be following is the Browns versus the Panthers. Baker Mayfield, the starting quarterback, as the Browns go into Carolina
Without Deshaun Watson.
without Deshaun Watson to take on Baker Mayfield and his new team, the Carolina Panthers. There's so much I like Baker in this matchup so much. I'm pretty sure we will get this game in this area.
I hope so. Like,
It's the only other. It's the noon game on CBS. I'm pretty sure we'll get it. I could be wrong, but
so we could be flipping back. And
I
forth.
think we'll be able to get that game. I'll have to I'd have to look at the actual mapping and everything, but I think they're going to give it to us here
I hope so.
because I think the only other ones are West Coast, which we don't get. They give us East Coast before we get West Coast.
Yeah.
So-
That makes sense.
So I'm hoping we get that game. If not, we'll have to just try it.
Eagles Lions is at 12-2.
Yeah, but usually Eagles Lions is on Fox.
Oh, that's right.
So what are
Yeah.
the Bears? What is the
Bears are on Fox.
Bears will be on Fox.
So usually the way it works in our area, and this could be different for other people if you listen to in other parts of the countries, but here in Illinois, the Chicagoland area, we get all of the Bears game, all the NFC matchups are typically on Fox.
Yeah.
The Bears games are going to be on Fox, assuming they're not like a primetime game.
Yeah.
They're going to be on Fox, and then like the only time they're on CBS is if they're on the road at an AFC opponent.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Like,
so that's usually how that works. So they usually are on CBS like once or twice a year, typically. Otherwise, though, they're on Fox. So we got them on Fox. The Browns Panthers is CBS. I'm really hoping we get that game because that's really the only other game that I really want to be able to watch.
true.
So yeah, and then last matchup, just to kind of shout out our boy Mitch Trubisky. You know how I'm a fan of him.
Yep.
He's making his debut for the Steelers. He has been named QB1 over there in Pittsburgh as well as team captain, which doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
He's a good guy.
It doesn't surprise me with the fact that they're so young.
Yeah,
Like
and
if-
he's likable.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
likable
he's
guy.
everyone's always said that when he was in the Bears locker room, that they liked him, but it's like
Unless you're Matt Nagy.
They were always. No one ever questioned Trubisky's leadership. It was his football ability. That was always the issue. Like I'll always stand by that. And you remember I got into it with your brother about
Oh
this
yeah, you
one.
got heated.
Like Trubisky players like Trubisky. He's a likable teammate. He's a solid leader. So his football ability isn't the greatest, but that doesn't mean he's like sucks as a person.
yeah.
Got to throw that out there because I remember that conversation.
True. And
Man.
take a guess who's number 2 on the depth chart.
Mason Rudolph.
Kenny.
Yep, Mason
Oh, it
Rudolph.
is?
It's Mason Rudolph. It was
wow.
shocking to me. I was like,
I
what
should
the
have
hell?
known. You wouldn't have asked if it wasn't gonna.
Yeah,
if it-
I was like, dude, come on, this fucking guy again.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, to be fair, that makes sense to me.
yeah, Kenny Pickett's young. He's a project quarterback
I know, but still.
with tiny hands, little baby hands, little sausages. He's got sausages for fingers, Bob.
Well, I mean, Mason Rudolph has like one brain cell left after all the head injuries.
But his hands are big. And that's what matters.
Yeah, that's true. And George Pickens is rumored to be number 1 on the depth chart.
I can't wait for him not to be as good as everyone thinks he is.
Dude,
I think he's going to be decent.
I think
I'm
he's gonna be okay.
The
But it's just
Steelers have a lot. If you're a Steelers fan, you have a lot to be excited about and more so hopeful about because there's still like what is Kenny Pickett going to be? How is Trubisky going to do? But you
Yeah.
got to look at your receiving room and feel confident about it.
True.
Especially, I'm really high on Pat Fryermuth. I think he's really good.
Deontay Johnson.
Deontay Johnson had a you could call it a breakout year, sort of.
Yeah.
he put himself on the map.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
definitely had a standout year compared to the previous year.
Because, I mean, really, his problem was just like drops.
Yeah.
And like it seemed like that
But he
wasn't a
gains
problem
good
for him, right?
separation. He's a solid route runner.
Yeah.
Defense speaks for itself.
I was gonna say they got Chase Claypool and Najee Harris.
Yeah, Najee Harris. How did I
Najee.
forget about Najee Harris?
But
Oh.
again, that is this weirdest division because like the Bengals should be good because they fixed their only problem, which is offensive line. But the other problem is usually if you lose in the Super Bowl, you don't make the playoffs. That's what kind of happened over the past
Yeah.
10 years. So you're kind of worried about that. The Ravens weren't healthy last year, but their defense looks bad, and they lost Hollywood Brown. The Steelers should be good because they were good last year, except they had Big Ben who couldn't move in the pocket.
The Steelers could have a good year. I think they're going to have. I could see them making the playoffs.
Yeah. But then you have the Browns who don't have Deshaun Watson for 6 games, and then you have no idea what you're getting because he hasn't played in a year and a half.
Exactly.
He
But
touches
let's move on to the segment, Nick. This is your segment. Would you like to introduce it?
Nick's picks, because I absolutely smoked both of you guys. And then we had to add the playoffs and then add extra rules in the
To
playoffs.
still smoke
and
us?
then I still smoked you guys.
Yeah.
I'll
So
give
how
you-
about you give us a breakdown of how this year's picks are going to work? How's the scoring going? Everything, etc.
Okay, so last year we had wins and losses and all that. This year we're just gonna do points. So if you pick a game right, you get a point. If you pick it wrong, you don't get any points.
Salvage some dignity here. I
So
like
we're
it.
still working on the spread. So we'll go on whatever Bobby finds, wherever we find, that's the spread.
Bobby,
that
you
we're
find it
going
on
with.
FanDuel.
FanDuel.
These
yeah,
are the FanDuel spreads we're giving you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying it this week. Next week
Yeah.
it might not be that. So whatever spread we find, we're finding it on either Tuesday or Wednesday morning. So it might change on Thursday, but we're going with what it is when we put it in our outline.
Yeah.
It's not changing from that. And then what we're adding this year is you can pick one underdog to be money line winners, and then that will be worth 2 points. But if they cover the spread but lose, you
Zero.
get 0 points.
Cool.
So if you want to pick the Jags last year were the big team, they're always 17.5-point underdogs. If they only lose by 14, you get 0 points. You don't get that one for picking a bad team.
Gotcha.
So we'll start it off with Bills-Rams, the Thursday night football game. Bills are favored by 2.5. I'll start it off. I think the Bills are going to win. I just think
Bills.
Listen, I'll go with it right now. I'm throwing my Rams and money line pick in here.
okay.
To me, this is an easy money line choice because 2.5 points is essentially like, we kind of have to say someone's going to.
I was going to say we're going to use the same. We're going to use the same logic as last year, where if it's under 3 points, we're just picking whoever's going to win.
It's pretty much like we have to pick someone to be a favorite. We're going to go with this team. So I think this is a safe money line pick here. They're technically an underdog, though I don't think they're actually underdogs. But in the betting world, they're considered the underdog.
That's true, yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to throw my money line on this one. I think it's the safest underdog pick of the week. Just saying.
It's close.
Just one man's opinion. Yeah, I think you gotta go Bills here. Josh Allen.
Josh Allen's going to Josh Allen.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, Matt Stafford got a bum elbow.
I don't even think. To me, it doesn't matter about Matt Stafford or whatever. It's just the Bills were so good last year. Could have been argued that better overtime rules should be in the Super Bowl against the Rams last year, but didn't happen. But their team's exactly the same as it was last year, except their offensive coordinator's gone.
Yeah,
So,
and you have Von Miller, and then you got some key address some key needs in the offseason. So I was like, I think they're good. They're solid.
Fair enough.
yeah, so we got 2 Bills, and then Andrew with his money line pick.
Money
of the
line
Rams.
pick on the
So
Rams.
bold
They're my
choice.
lock.
Yeah. So then moving
They're
on,
Mills more lock.
No, they're just my money line pick. I got a different mortal lock.
All right.
moving on to Sunday, Steelers versus Bengals. Bengals are favored by 6.5 points. I guess I'll start with this one too. I'll pick Bengals, just for the simple fact is 6.5. It seems like a lot to me, but then also it's 1 touchdown, and I think they have the ability to win by a touchdown because of Joe Shiesty.
I'm picking against the spread here more than a win or loss. I think the Steelers can cover the spread. I think they can cover 6.5. I'm not going to say whether they win or not. I'm inclined to say the Bengals will probably win, but I do think, especially we were talking about all the additions on the offense there. Plus, we know the defense is already really good. Add a mobile quarterback who brings an extra dynamic to the offense that they didn't have last year. Najee Harris is probably going to have another. You'd assume he takes another step in his development.
Better offensive line.
I could see them at the very least covering the spread on this one.
Yeah, I'm just going to go based off of the Steelers' defense right there. I don't think that the defense is going to let them lose by more than a touchdown.
Well, the
So
spread
if
is.
they lose by a touchdown,
Well,
that would
or
cover the
by
spread.
lose by a touchdown. Underneath the touchdown. There you go.
So you're saying like less than 6 points.
Yeah, so that's it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they're going to cover this.
All right, moving to the next game, Eagles versus Lions. Eagles are favored by 3.5. I'll let Andrew pick this one because he's the lone boy. On the
Yeah,
left side.
I'm going with the Lions. And you know what? I think the Lions are going to win this game. I don't even think it's going to be cover. I think the Lions are going to win. This just feels like a trap game for the Eagles. Because I'm a big fan of Dan Campbell. I like to think that we're going to see the Lions team that he is like building come out this year. This feels like one of those week 1 trap games where you're it's the Lions. Or is it in Detroit?
Yeah.
So it's in Detroit. You think maybe they're going into like, the Lions aren't that big of they're not that tough of a matchup. I think they have it in them to win this game. So I'm going to pick them. I'm not saying they're going to win. I think they can win, but I do think they will cover the spread at the very least. Also, not my mortal lock.
I thought that's where you're leading. I like your reasoning, but and I mean I do feel like Dan Campbell's got something going on over there, but I got to ride with the Eagles on this one. Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith. Yeah.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
I'm also with the Eagles. They got a lot better than they were last year, and I have them winning the division, so they got to start off hot if they're going to do that. So,
Fair enough.
Sure.
and I like Nick Sirianni. He's leading them in the right. Same thing with Dan Campbell's over the top of like how much he can pump up his team, but Nick Sirianni is also taking them in the right direction.
Yeah, who would have thought that rock, paper, scissors tactic would really work out for him?
I didn't.
We
I thought
clowned that man.
I thought he was.
We dragged him through the mud for that.
I think it's still stupid to do. but-
Oh, absolutely, 100%. But still,
I mean, he's not a bad coach.
he's not a bad coach. It was not indicative of his ability.
But
That's
I will
for sure.
say, watching the Hard Knocks for the Detroit Lions, I think
Oh, dude, I like the
Campbell-
video when they're doing the running backs are doing and they're like they have the resistance band around the ball and then the band shoots off. It just smacks. I don't know who it was smacks him in the
Dude,
side.
that guy was in pain. He was dying.
They're building something there in Detroit. They're
Yeah.
building something, and it starts week 1
Yeah, stop
with
the
a win
Jared.
against the Eagles.
Stop the Jared Goff hate. All right,
I'm not.
Say it,
He's
say
not
it.
spectacular.
say it. Yeah,
He's not spectacular. What do you want from me?
just say it.
Give him
Stop
one more year
Jared
and then
Goff.
he'll-
There's worse quarterbacks.
Yeah, exactly.
There are a lot of better ones too. All right, moving on to the next game: Colts versus Texans. Colts are favored by 7.5. I think it's pretty safe to say that the Colts, with
Yeah, I
Jonathan
think the
Taylor,
Colts-
are going to run all over them.
Yeah, and with Matt Ryan upgrade
Matty Ice.
at quarterback, this seems like a game where they can win by quite a bit. We also don't really know what the heck's going on in Texas or Houston. I don't really know what their team looks like other than Dave. I'm excited to see how Davis Mills does in year 2. If he this is kind of like, hey man, you proved that you deserve a shot to be the
Yeah.
starter. I hope he continues to build off of it, but the Texans can very well be like a first overall pick next year.
Also, I don't understand. They cut Marlon Mack, but yet Rex Burkhead made the team. Like, what sense does that make?
I don't know. I'm not in the lock. I don't know who's better doing. I don't watch the Texans camp.
Dude, I don't
Maybe it's a
understand that.
culture thing. I don't know. It's Lovie Smith, and you know what? I will say this: Lovie Smith built an excellent culture for the Bears when he was here.
Yeah.
Everyone. You listen to any player that was here when Lovie Smith was here, and it was very clear who was in charge. It was a huge respect, it was a culture of respect in that locker room. Lovie Smith commands a locker room. So I'd like to think that this, if anything, is a culture move, that Rex Burkhead thing.
Yeah.
Who knows, though? Like I said, we don't know what's going on with the Texans, really. They're probably going to be bad again,
That's
realistically.
Yeah, realistically. Yeah, but
So we're all taking the Colts there.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, moving on to the next game of the week: Saints versus Falcons. Saints are favored by 5.5. I'm liking Jameis Winston. I think he sees a lot better. He got that whatever surgery, his LASIK surgery. He's not throwing 30 picks anymore.
Yeah,
I think he's better.
I'm taking the Falcons.
I'm taking Saints.
Fair enough.
I just can't.
I got to mix it up a little bit here, guys.
It could be 7-0 because the Saints defense,
Could be.
they're gonna be the best defense in the league.
And they
this
could
year.
also suck because new head coach.
The honey badger. Yeah.
And I don't know what's Jameis all about. Who knows?
I don't know. He was pretty decent
Yeah.
last year. But he got hurt.
Worst case, you get 30 for 30, man. That's about it. Yeah.
I'll take 30.
I'll take it.
No, I think the Falcons will cover. I expect a lower scoring game. I don't think the offense is going to do much for New Orleans either.
And I don't think Michael Thomas is playing.
I don't think he is either.
Yeah.
All right, Ravens versus the Jets.
Jets.
And the Ravens are favored by 7.5.
Joe Flacco starting this game. I guess that's another matchup against his former team.
Yeah.
The QB who usurped him in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Baltimore's going to win this game.
Yeah.
Baltimore, I expect to cover the
To be
spread.
fair,
Or
even
I
if,
mean,
even
expect
if
to-
Zach Wilson is the starting quarterback,
that wasn't changing my mind either. I was still taking Baltimore. Plus 7.5. I'll take them.
All right, Patriots versus the Dolphins. Dolphins are favored by 3.5. I think Dolphins. They made a lot of moves.
This is my mortal lock of the week. Dolphins.
Dolphins.
Yeah.
I think the Dolphin. I think we're going to see just. I like Mike McDaniels in Miami a lot, and I also think we're going to see that sophomore slump from Mac Jones.
Well, he lost almost all of his receivers except
Yeah, like
they have
the-
Devontae Parker now.
Yeah, it's true. I forgot he's there now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
No, I'm
revenge
taking.
game.
I think the Dolphins. It's my mortal lock. It's also in Miami, where New England is teams in general do not play well when they have to play in Miami.
Because it's humid.
Yeah,
That heat
humidity.
is brutal. So I'm going to take the Dolphins. I'm going to put them in as my lock. Stamp it in. I wish I had a gavel to knock something on. That would have been cool.
You
But
can buy
yeah,
that. You can buy that for next week.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see what Amazon's got for me. Just keep it right here.
Bam. So,
But yeah, I think it is. It's honestly the only one who can mess it up is Tua.
Yeah, two is the one who has to actually do it.
Yeah.
But they have the team to win by more than 3.5.
Yeah.
all right, then we move on to already talked about earlier, but Browns versus Panthers. Panthers are favored by only 1.5, but I think it's pretty safe to say that without Deshaun Watson, Baker Mayfield has so many chips on his shoulder.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, give me Baker in this situation with the chip on it. He's got like 3 chips on each shoulder at the very least. Baker, yeah, I'm taking Carolina.
Don't count out Nick Chubb. Give me the Browns.
Run CMC, man.
Yep.
This is
Well, CMC is gonna run the ball like 10 times and be out for the rest of the season. All
we
right?
don't know. You never know.
I will bet any amount of money that he gets injured this
Your
season.
entire savings account.
I don't
It's
have
like
it.
$7.
Your entire checking account.
Yes, I
It's
will
like
bet that
$20.
he will be injured this season.
For substantial time. Like,
Yeah, I'm not taking that bet because
you
he
can't
probably
just,
will.
you can't just
Exactly.
pull him out for like a sprained ankle. and
No,
he's
no,
gonna
no.
come
I'm
back
saying like
quarterly.
he's gonna miss at least 2 or more weeks.
Wow.
Would be
consecutively.
consecutive.
Fair enough.
I don't think that's gonna happen. I think he's actually.
I'm still taking the Panthers on this one.
Me too,
Quarterback situation.
McCaffrey
Jacoby
usually
Brissett
stays healthy
starting,
for
right?
like
Yep.
I think there's Baker's got so much to be motivating him, and I
Yeah.
think the team around him is going to also use that. Whether you like Baker or not, he did get like heavily disrespected
Well,
by
this
the
is
Browns. through the
Robbie
whole thing.
Anderson, right?
Yeah,
The
Robbie
Panthers.
Anderson.
I think his team is. I mean, not like super bad. Like I think it's slightly better than the opportunity he had in Cleveland, just because he's going to be healthy and not injured, and the team doesn't really care. And like Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore are pretty solid at receiving options, and Christian McCaffrey's better than Nick Chubb when healthy, so should really not be that big of
Yeah.
a drop off for him. All right, now we move into the 49ers versus the Bears.
The matchup of the week.
Why would I say that? The 49ers
No, just
are
the one that I
for this garage, yes.
for this match. It's our
good.
matchup of the week.
49ers are favored by 6.5. I went back and forth on this because I'm like, it's 6.5. That's like a full touchdown, but also I could see the 49ers jumping out early, like 21-0.
Yeah, see, this game could very easily be a blowout because the 49ers have a good defense. I'm really banking on Trey Lance not being good, to be honest with you. I'm banking on him not being good and the Bears having a solid secondary. Jalen Johnson, I've raved about him. You know, he was my hot take for the last year.
Yep.
Jaquan Brisker is going to be playing in week 1. He's supposed to be ready to go. I like him opposite of Eddie Jackson, who I think is going to have a solid year as well. And then Kyler Gordon, their other second-round pick from this draft, was looking impressive during the preseason as well. So I think, you know, a young, physical, and hungry secondary versus a quarterback making his NFL debut, regular season debut.
Yeah.
No, I think he started one game last year.
Oh, he
Because
might
Jimmy
have.
G got hurt.
Yeah, you're right. But like, very limited experience-wise in Trey Lance in Soldier Field. I don't care how bad the Bears are. Soldier Field is always loud and it's always energetic. I think they can kind of rattle him and take advantage. I think they'll cover. I don't expect it to be high scoring either way, but I think they can cover the spread.
I think in at least one defensive touchdown for each team.
Wow. I don't know about that.
Just because I can see the Bears getting bad field position one time and that
A fumble.
Nick Bosa is just insane. No, I'm just saying like a safety or some kind of like where
Defensive score.
Fields is going to rush it and then he's going to throw a pick six. It's just close to the end zone.
Oof.
Something like that.
Oh,
I hope it doesn't
Speaking
happen.
of pick sixes, real quick, Mitch Trubisky has yet to throw a pick six in his career. Only quarterback since that stat has been followed.
That is true.
Pretty impressive.
That is impressive.
How Steelers
well, I mean-
Super Bowl bound?
I mean, I'm just gonna say that just proves to his athletic ability. So when he does throw a pick, he makes.
He
tackle.
does make the tackle.
But
That's true.
That really all that
But
stat shows.
that'll move us into the next matchup.
We got probably the toilet bowl of the week.
The
what
toilet
I
bowl.
would say. Jaguars versus Commanders. Commanders are favored by 2.5.
Yeah, I'm going with the Jags on this one. I don't think Carson Wentz is going to do anything else or really anything notable in this game. I just expect him to be bad.
I have the Jags money line for this one.
This is your money line.
Again, another 2.5 point underdog. So really not like a super crazy underdog, but For me, I feel like Trevor Lawrence is going to improve from last year. They have a new coach, which doesn't kick players, and Travis Etienne is healthy this year.
Yeah.
So like that, I feel like the reason they drafted him last year was to help Trevor Lawrence kind of come into, being an NFL player. And I saw what Jamar Chase did for Joe Burrow, having that chemistry from college, and it's the same thing. Like that was the same backfield as Clemson is now going to be your backfield at Jacksonville.
Yeah. I like Doug Peterson being there. I think that'll help with Trevor Lawrence quite a bit, honestly, as well as like you said, better coach in terms of culture. And I like Ron Rivera. It's nothing against Riverboat Ron. It's more so Carson Wentz's ass, and he's going to play like ass most likely.
I honestly just taking the Commanders because they have Scary Terry and that Jahan Dotson's supposed to be amazing. So
Fair enough.
I'm gonna take Commanders on that.
All right, moving into the next game. Raiders versus Chargers. Chargers favored by 3.5.
I'm going Chargers.
Yeah, me as well.
I'm going Chargers. I think
I'm
the
going
defense is the difference maker here.
Yeah, I'm going with the team that made the most defensive moves in the offseason.
Obviously, the biggest splash, if not Tyreek Hill, was Devontae Adams.
Yep.
But I think the defense on the Chargers is better, and I think the Chargers offense is more than capable of keeping up with the Raiders offense.
Yeah.
This is an important year for Justin Herbert, right? Like this is it now. They finally have put a full team. I mean, he's had a solid team, but now they've addressed what they felt was the weakest part of their game in the offseason. Brandon Staley, they got his guys for the defense. Now it's you got to keep all of your main pieces. Austin Eckler is a good running back. He's a very shifty, versatile guy. This is kind of it now. Justin Herbert, he's got to do something this year. He could throw for 5,000 yards and 40 touchdowns all he wants. You got to win games now. And this is a good matchup to kind of do that. I think, like I said, the defensive acquisitions are the big difference maker here.
This is my number 2 game of the week. Not quite my matchup of the week, but this is the...
I wish this was a primetime game.
Yeah, that would be a really good.
I would love to watch this one.
Because honestly, I'm taking the Raiders because it's gonna be a really close game. It's gonna be within 1 or 2 points.
Oh yeah, it'll be a close game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a safe cover with the spread being so close. You're just gotta... All right, moving on to the next game, which probably won't be super close. Giants versus Titans. Titans favored by 5.5.
Yeah, I'm taking the Titans on this one. Not much else to say. Titans are a better team.
Danny Dimes needs to prove himself this year. And
I'm riding with my boy Danny Dimes. He's gonna cover the spread.
We'll see.
He's not gonna win.
He might fumble more times than the spread.
in week 1?
Not week 1.
He's a fumble. He's got a fumble
He
issue.
might trip more times.
Bobby, I don't mean to call you out here. Did you spell your name wrong in the Google Doc right there? Did you spell your name wrong?
Bobby.
Oh, I would put 1B. I would type my name in fast.
Fade Bobby.
Fade Bobby.
Fade Bobby.
Are we
Fade
fading Bobby?
We're
again?
about to see what Brian Dable's made of. All right, can he beat the Titans week 1?
We'll see.
We'll see.
I don't think so.
Can he beat the Derrick Henrys in week 1?
Can he cover the spread? Maybe.
You say so?
Let's see. All right, moving on to the next game. Chiefs versus Cardinals. Chiefs favored by 5.5. I'm gonna be the
Chiefs.
odd one out over here. I'm picking Cardinals. I don't think the offense is gonna be clicking right away with losing Tyreek Hill for the Chiefs.
Maybe not, but I think they're better than the Cardinals.
But
Cliff Kingsbury's a
5.5
bum.
points better.
5.5. I'll give them 5.5.
A full
points.
tutty better.
Yeah, with how much points, how many points? That's better grammar. How many points the Chiefs can put on the board? Yeah, 5.5. I think is
Yeah.
closer than
Travis Kelce's still there.
Yeah, 5.5 is closer than most teams would
no
get against the
D-Hop
Chiefs.
for 6 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm taking the Chiefs.
All right, moving on to this is my game of the week to watch: Packers versus Vikings. Packers favored by 1.5. I'm going Packers because Sammy Watkins always has a good week 1, and I think
That's about it.
Yeah,
But that's all you need him for this
Literally.
one. That's all Nick needs him for this week.
literally this is going to be a dogfight for the division win. I think it leans a little bit Packers because I think they're going to start off with a win in week 1. So it's
I'm going Vikings on this one.
I'm going Vikings money line on this one.
it's 1.5.
Yeah, I'm taking money line.
Yeah,
They're
this
gonna
is
win.
this. You're picking money line no matter
Yeah,
what. with
exactly.
this
Money
one.
line. Might as well throw my money line on it.
Okay, Boomhauer, let's calm down. That should be a really good game. And I'm almost for sure we're going to be having that one on TV because that's a 325.
Yeah, we'll probably get that one.
And it's right.
Yeah.
Both teams are right next to us.
Most likely.
We'll see
The
what Kirk
Vikings,
Cousins is made of.
the Vikings usually get one win again. Typically, they split at home, right? Like the Vikings will win at home, and then the Packers will win at home. That's how that season series has gone recently. Good matchup. This is a real test for them. Kirk Cousins can kind of set the tone early.
Captain Kirk.
Captain Kirk, oh captain, my captain.
And we really don't have basis to see how the receivers are for Aaron Rodgers. So
Yeah, we don't know. Ooh, I don't like my hat being backwards. This is going back forward.
Randall Cobb is old. Sammy Watkins is old.
the new guy Romeo Dubs is supposed to be real good.
Yeah, but Rodgers kind of dogged all of the younger guys.
I don't know.
Well, there's a lot of
Apparently,
question marks on
Yeah,
that
there
offense
is.
outside of A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones.
Yeah,
And I
both
guess
of
Robert
those.
Tanyan, but he's not like spectacular.
Robert
he's just a
Tonyan-
good weapon.
To me, this is going to be his make or break year. Is he going to move into that conversation where like Dawson Knox is kind of slowly moving up the tight end board?
Yeah.
Is he going to move up, or is he going to go back down to where like
He was before he had that crazy streak of touchdowns.
he's
Yeah.
a big name guy on the Packers, but because they have like a very low bar,
he's
like,
only a big name on the Packers. He's one
Yeah.
of those guys, right?
Like
He's a local like big name. He's
Yeah.
not like a national name.
yeah.
If that makes sense.
Like what's his name? Mike?
Give us a team.
The Green Bay Packers. Oh, Jordy Nelson. There we go.
I think Jordy Nelson. I mean,
Jordy
Jordy
Nelson
Nelson
got
led the
big
league in
enough.
receiving one year, I believe.
yeah. Jordy Nelson got big enough to where like
Yeah.
Jordy Nelson was getting himself some national commercials with State Farm.
Yeah, but
Remember the
then he went to the Ravens,
golden
man,
cleats because he's
and-
from Kansas or whatever, wherever Dorothy's from. You remember that they gave him the ruby
Yeah.
cleats.
I'm not saying a guy like Robert Tonyan, if he moved to another team, then that team would know him well. But it's not like he moves to another team, then he gets bad, and they're gonna lose him.
That's what happened to Jordy Nelson, man.
It happens.
Yeah,
But he was a bigger name.
yeah,
But-
he was.
That'll move to the Sunday night matchup.
Buccaneers versus Cowboys. Bucks are favored by 2.5. I'm going with
Going-
the Sea Boys.
I'm going Bucks.
Yeah, don't not bet on Tom Brady. All right.
Don't not bet
Yeah,
on Tom Brady. So that
don't-
means don't bet on Tom Brady. What are you saying here?
Don't.
No. He's got
Don't
it.
not.
Yeah,
double
don't-
negatives just don't make sense.
Yeah,
Do
no,
not-
double negative.
not
make
bet
the
on.
bu- Yeah, so it's like
So bet on
do
Tom.
not bet on him. So
Yeah,
it would be
He's
a bad
having-
thing to bet
He's
against.
having marital strife
You
and
could've-
family issues.
Dude
and-
looks skeletal.
And
does.
Dak Prescott is, which is a weird stat. I heard this week. This is the first time he has not been rehabbing at all during preseason camp. Every single
Wow.
season before this, he's been rehabbing. So
Still
to me-
taking the Bucks.
Cowboys.
Kyle Trask can be the quarterback, and I'm taking the Bucks.
Yeah.
You're gonna be wrong
Well, we'll see.
because Trayvon Diggs is gonna give up 700 yards passing to his receiver, but he's also gonna get 2 picks.
You got me there.
Yes.
All right, then we move into the Monday night game: Broncos versus Seahawks. Broncos are favored by 6.5, and of course, it's gonna be the Broncos because
Yeah, let's hear it,
this-
Bobby.
Bronco country. Let's ride.
Let's ride. Yeah, Broncos. That's an easy pick.
Yeah. That's,
Not even a challenge.
To me, it's not a slander against Drew Lock. I think Drew Lock's okay. Like he's
Oh,
He's
no.
not even the starter.
Geno Smith.
Geno
dude.
Smith is starting.
That's how much
either
he
way,
sucks.
Either way, both of those guys,
Now it's slander. No.
they're not great. They're not terrible. But the Seahawks got rid of everyone. They have DK Metcalf,
Yeah.
and that's about it.
Tyler Lockett, I guess. Tyler Lockett's good, but
Kenneth Walker the
Ken-
third.
Yeah, but
he has a hernia. He's out.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
so it's Chris Carson. Chris Carson.
No, Chris Carson
Penny.
Chris
retired.
Carson's retired. I keep thinking he's still there.
It's
Rashad
Penny.
Rashad
Rashad
Penny.
Penny.
Well, to be fair, I had Chris Carson in my fantasy, and then when he got hurt, I also picked up Rashad Penny.
Oh, yeah.
So I always just had the Seahawks running back on my
Yeah.
team. I didn't care what his name was.
So you just like put him in.
I was like, well, I don't have any, my other ones are the 2 backups for the Ravens, who also got hurt before week 1. So I was like, well, I don't know what to do here.
J.K. Dobbins, man, that one hurt.
Yeah, I
that
picked up
did
J.K.
hurt.
Dobbins, and then I picked up everyone. Then Devontae
Speaking-
Freeman came up.
Speaking
and I was
of
like,
running
well,
backs, guess who made the Bears, Bobby? He made the final roster.
Montreal Tuggle?
Demontrell Tuggle.
Yes.
I hope we see him get a carry this season.
I want to see
I want to hear an announcer say that full name. I hope he breaks a big one, like a 30, 40-yard run. And we get to just hear them yell, Demontrell Tuggle.
That was one man I was rooting for to make that roster.
Oh, once you told me his name? Yeah, of course. Exactly. I just want to hear him say Tuggle.
Yeah, that's an amazing name.
They kept him just for his name over Daz Newsome, and that just still makes me mad.
Well, Daz Newsome had a rough couple weeks after you shouted him out, and then he was just dropping everything.
You cursed him, actually. Like he's a real. That's the you saying that made him.
That's the GTS curse right there, man. It's like the Madden curse, except no one knows about us. So,
so it's just random. It's like, why is this happening?
This guy's like, my hands don't work anymore. What happened? And all that happened is one of us in this garage shouted their performance out, and then they just were bad.
Yeah, it was not good. I'm still upset about that.
It is what it is, man. I mean, there's only so much you can do.
Yeah, that's true.
But so that's week 1 of Nick's picks. We'll see how we all fared come next week.
Yep.
It'll be interesting. It's gonna be a good season. It's gonna be a good year. Good year.
This will be a good year. I like the new point system.
You still owe me a hoodie.
Oh, that's right. We do owe you a hoodie.
True. I'm still waiting for my golf ball. So,
what do you get golf balls for?
This was the draft last year.
Oh, that's right.
Like not the one that just happened. It was the one before that.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that's right. We were gonna get you like Pro V1s or something.
Yeah, true. Hey, when I get my
I'll pick them up for next week.
All right, then we'll
be here. They'll be here next week.
Then we'll get you your hoodie.
What's your hoodie? What are we getting you as a hoodie again?
He gets to pick the team.
Yeah, I guess I get to pick.
Like a football hoodie? Is it? It's a football hoodie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just like you could just be like, I want this American Eagle hoodie.
I mean, really. If you
I want this Forever 21 hoodie. That's $4, please. No, I'll probably be Bears. My other Bears hoodie is too big now.
Oh yeah.
Nice. Also, Bobby, do you want a Khalil Mack Bears jersey?
I'll take Khalil.
Oh, wait, no, I gave it to Mel. Never mind. Sorry,
Okay,
I take that back. That's right, I gave it to Mel.
Never mind, Bobby. No,
it's all right. I got 3, so
yeah, you're good. You have Cohen's.
Yeah, and I got a huge David Montgomery one.
Nice. Good
which I might bring it over if it fits you. I might just let you know.
I've got their 1936 throwback Justin Fields jersey, which I'm scared to wear because I'm like, if I get it dirty.
The orange, right?
No, it's the white with the.
Oh, okay.
They wear and they've got like the Michigan-looking helmets with the striped socks.
Okay, yeah, I have that one, but of Cone.
Yeah, I got Fields. So
I like that.
Either way, Nick, hit us with your question of the week.
All right, so my question of the week, me and Andrew kind of talked about this on Monday when we were on the way to golf. So we kind of talked about LSU kind of selling their soul earlier, and like since that, Joe Burrow national championship run, they've been pretty much just dog shit since then. So
Not as good.
So they
shell themselves.
They kind of sold themselves to win. Would you rather sell as a head coach, because college teams don't have owners, but as a head coach, would you rather sell the future of your franchise to win a national championship, or would you sell the future of your franchise to win a Super Bowl?
Now, all right, like on the flip side of it, like
now,
am I still gonna be competing if I don't? Like, will I be like in the running?
I mean, you have to think about it like, so if you're to shelve yourself in the NFL, you're probably not going back to the playoffs. But if you're shelve yourself in college football, you still have a chance of being, top 15 if you're only losing, one game, maybe two.
Yeah, but I'm saying like, all right,
So like if I say I'll sell it to be a Super Bowl champion, every year after that the teams I'm on suck. So I'm getting the what's his face? Jim Fisher.
Yep.
We're getting the Jim Fisher treatment. He made that one Super Bowl with Steve McNair and the Titans, and that has been ass since, right?
Well, I'm not saying you as like a coach suck. I'm just saying like you pretty
the teams that don't do well. Though.
I'm like you're pretty much telling your owner I want to trade for all guys who are going to be free agents at the end of this year to win a Super Bowl, and then they all disappear.
Oh, so like I blow it up
football,
for that, but like there's a chance I can rebuild it and be good again. Or
college football, I bring in all these senior transfers, so then all my guys transfer at the end of the year, but we win a national championship. So now I'm rebuilding pretty much from nothing.
But is there a chance that you can be good again? Or is it like
but not like for the next 5-6 years.
I'm taking the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but on the flip side, is it like
actually
is it like you're gonna be like a playoff team like every year, but you just won't get to the playoffs?
No. He just explained it. You go all in. You go all in at the trade deadline.
You're pretty much mortgaging your next 5 years for a Super Bowl run or a national championship.
Think about it.
Run.
You give up all of your young prospects to get proven talent that's there for the rest of that season, and then they're all free agents. So you're gonna have to rebuild after that, but you're gonna get your Super Bowl or championship.
Or not rebuild. Okay.
And you're still a Super Bowl coach, so like you still can pull other free agents in. But like the main part of the question is you're not going to be good for the next 3 years. So you're going to have to.
100%. I would do that.
So you do a Super Bowl, not national championship.
I would do national championship.
I think
College football, where the money at for
the
coach.
logical one. I'm gonna go
I would do
with
Super
I'm
Bowl
gonna go with
because-
national championship because I think you get more job security as a
Oh, yeah.
college coach than a NFL coach.
I was just thinking more of like I would rather do it for the Super Bowl.
I would
Super
rather
Bowl
win a Super Bowl,
is the top
but I
level
need
of-
my job.
Because my thing is, kind of like
You know what? You
Harbaugh-
convinced me. I'll go
Harbaugh,
Super Bowl.
You make it to the Super Bowl. You don't even win the Super Bowl when you play the Ravens, and you pretty much secured your job security in Michigan. They sucked for like the first 3 years he was there, but still job security. So once you win that Super Bowl, you're good.
Yeah, you're.
Just because you
I'll
win a
go
national
Super Bowl.
champion,
I'll
they're
go
not
Super
going.
Bowl then. I get what
Yeah.
you're saying.
I'll go with Super
I'll go
Bowl.
with you with the Super Bowl.
I'm gonna stick with Natty. I get to coach for my favorite team. I'll be like, yeah, USC, of course. Boom.
Well, you're gonna be USC. That just completely defeats the purpose because you'll never be in a chance to win.
Yeah,
the national
they'll never be in
championship.
that position.
Lincoln Riley, man, we're gonna win the Natty.
9-3.
Give us
4 and 7.
give us
We're gonna
2
finish
years.
the season.
2 years, Bobby. Wow, that's a
We're
long
gonna-
time.
Like 3 months ago, you were talking about how they're gonna be like the greatest teams in sliced bread, and now you're like, give us 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years. That's when we're gonna have the 12-man thing, and they're gonna just slide right in there. Boom, win the Natty. Done.
We'll see. We'll see about that one. But I think that'll wrap up the episode. Any final thoughts, boys, that you want to add in? Anything? Once, twice, 3 times, sold? Nothing? Cool. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate you listening. We always like talking football, talking sports with you guys. As always, if you like what you heard, please give us a follow on our social medias. All of that is linked in our website. And coincidentally, all of it is our name, Garage Talk Sports. Very easy to find. But that'll do it for us. So we appreciate you guys, and we will talk to you next week.
See ya.